Hello, welcome to Demon TV. My name is Calum Travers. I'm joined here today by Matt Harvey. Hello, Matt.
Hey.
Hello. We're gonna go ahead and just get into this interview real quick. So Matt Harvey is a stand-up comic slash storyteller based out of Melbourne, Australia. Before doing comedy, Matt, I believe you studied at La Trobe University to study art and drama.
I did, yes.
Yes.
Oh, someone's done some
So during this
research.
time, so during this time, I believe you picked up employment as a rides operator, which is presumably like a side job to comedy. Would you say?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those easy, flexible jobs that you get stuck in for ages because they're easy and they're flexible. And
Yeah,
you sort of end up doing it. And I guess at this point, I've, like, my next show is probably a collection of stories coming out of jobs that I don't work at anymore and I don't have to worry about being fired from anymore.
Oh, I see. My next question was gonna be, how do you find balancing work and comedy together? Is that something that you enjoy doing, or is it like, would you rather do comedy full time?
I absolutely would rather do comedy full time. But when, I guess, many years ago, I made the choice of if I'm going to have to do a day job, I'm going to do something that is at least entertaining for me. And so I've worked in bowling alley, arcades, theme parks, an adult sex shop. Where else have I done jobs? I've done costume performance. I've worked in a scare house. So like just sort of anything that's going to keep me entertained has been the number one priority.
Fair enough. Would you say as well, like, because I feel like there's a common theme of like entertaining other people as well, especially with bits like the scare house as well. Is that something that kind of got you into comedy in a sense?
Oh no, I was doing comedy long before getting into working in a scare house. Like comedy for me was very much an accident. Comedy. So a good friend of mine was a stand-up, and I was doing theater at the time, and I I came from a background of not being a very strong public speaker, and theater I got into because I was uh, asked to do it. It was a period of like idleness after study, and a friend was like, "Come and do this. You've got nothing else to do." So I did, and we ended up doing that for a little while. And this other friend who was a stand-up, he would drag me to a lot of his gigs, and I figured it was a good way to work on my stage presence because at the time it was one of those things where it didn't matter. So if I got up and I failed, it didn't matter, and it became
Yeah.
the domineering form of performance that I quite enjoyed because I could control what I did. I could write. I could, weave narratives, and I could create fun stories and tell jokes about things that matter to me, as opposed to having to do someone else's story.
Oh yeah, definitely. Which brings me nicely onto the fact that like I said, you're a bit more of a storytelling comic. So, your new sketch for the comedy festival called "I Got Bitten by a Monkey Once." What kind of material can we expect in that? I think I can kind of figure out how the show's gonna start, but what
Yeah.
more can we expect from
Well,
that?
the log line, I guess, is that it is four true stories: a monkey bite, a long bus trip across America, a arrest, and a mugging. So those are the four stories that make up the bulk of the show. I put them together. Obviously they're all things that happened, and I found the humor in those incidents.
Oh, definitely. Like, especially I think with things like the things like the mugging, I think you can't help but not find humor in that. Which so like
Absolutely.
when things like that happen to you, how quickly do you think, oh, this would make a brilliant comedy sketch?
Okay, so there is a time stamped moment because I was at the police station waiting to put in my police report at about 1 a.m. and I got home. I think it was about 3 a.m. And the first thing I tweeted out when I got home was, "Hey, I've just been mugged," or as I've come to think of it, I'm gonna have a good stand-up story in about six.
So relatively soon after, you'd say as
Yeah,
well.
almost immediately. I was taking notes on the night, being like, "All right, what happened? What what were the things that were said? Are there any key features and details? And I've referred back to those notes a couple of times and been like, oh yeah, that guy did say that thing. So, reliving your trauma. It's the path to comedy.
Yeah, fair enough. I think it's a very good way to kind of deal with that. Like I said, I think sometimes you can't help but laugh at things like that. I think.
So many things are out of your control, and in that situation, there was very little I could do, and I tried to get out of it, and there was so little that I had control of. So all you can do is look back on it and be like, well, that was dumb. I made some stupid choices in the moment, but it was funny. And people, I think it's very humanizing, and people like to share. People really, I've had a number of people come up to me after shows, and the two main things that they do is they'll share an animal bite experience, or they'll share a mugging experience. And it's just, some of those stories are amazing. Some of those have been, one guy told me about his friend who, when a mugger tried to take his wallet, he put it on the ground in front of him, and as the mugger leant down to pick it up, he kicked him in the face.
Oh,
yeah. I was like, that's brilliant. That is an amazing story. And I'd like to hear that guy tell that story, but I only get to hear it secondhand.
Yeah, no, oh my god, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, right?
Oh, that's sick. No, Jake, wow, that's caught me off guard. Okay. But no, I mean, so yeah, do you ever feel that sometimes maybe you might go doing things that might, how do I put it? Like, go looking for a good story to tell. Yeah, a little bit like that.
It is easy to get caught up in the idea of looking for something to happen, but I think good writing saves almost any moment. Because some of these stories are inherently simple things, but when you break them down and when you distill them into what is the stupid moment, how could it have been avoided, and how can I make an audience understand why I made the choice that I made, I think that's where the comedy sits. Because there are inherent moments that are foolish and stupid, and there are things that people say that are in the moment very funny, even though when you're experiencing it, you don't see it that way. But there are thoughts that you have that very private moments that nobody else experiences, and when you think, oh, what's the nature of that? Where did that thought come from? Or why was I feeling that way? That you can really unpack and unfold, and I think they make for excellent moments of sharing, because you can be really vulnerable in a funny way, and you can tell an audience, as as scared as I was still negotiating with my muggers, and I was just trying to sneak out and trying to find a way out of this.
Yeah, it reminds me of the moment, I think it was from the Moss show, where it was a similar mugging story, and you didn't have any money because you were a comedian.
Yeah.
In your wallet. Yeah, no.
Absolutely.
It's
there's nothing there.
Yeah, no.
Nothing for him to take.
I'm a student, so if that were to happen to me, I'm like, dude, I'm paying back money.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I'm in debt.
Yeah, no, genuinely. So I think that's, I think you're completely right. Sometimes things are said in the moment of something like that, where it's seen as kind of too soon maybe, or something like that. But then you look back and you think, oh wow, that was hilarious.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I got one of the jokes that always gets, well, one of the key points in that story that always gets one of the biggest laughs is that one of the muggers is heckling me at one point, right? And in retrospect, when I referred back to the notes, and I was like, he said that particular thing, and that made me laugh. At the time, I was like, that's really rude. I'm gonna try to remember that, because you got to try and remember as much as you can for police reports and stuff like that. So you just
comedy shows.
Yeah, you're just throwing stupid details at people. But yeah, it's so bizarre.
But before we go, I want to talk about your podcast. It's called the Just for Funny podcast. So why don't you go ahead and just run us through a little what can we expect from that? If you
it's had a little bit of an evolution over its time. So it used to be my friend Marty and I, who was the guy who introduced me to comedy. We used to break down pieces of stand up and talk about what we liked about them. I've moved into, because Marty moved away from comedy, moved away from wanting to be on the microphone. So I moved into more of a breakdown of news, Australian-based, well, not necessarily Australian-based news, but I often find myself looking at Australian-based news, as well as doing a news quiz with comedians or performers or just people who I think are interesting. So like some people that you guys might know quite recently, I had Beck Hill and John Gracie, who does the Werewolf Live. I had them with a podcaster from a podcast called Cooking with Grief. They're all from the UK. And, like it's collecting silly stories, but also finding the silly part. Like much with the storytelling, it's finding the silly part of a story that people know and pulling it apart and finding why it's so stupid and just letting the comedians tear into it. And so those are the two shapes that the podcast has taken most recently.
Is that something like, has podcasting something you've always kind of been into, or like kind of having your own show, is it? Do you know what I mean? Is that something that, kind of comes from the comedy maybe as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think a little bit. It's like making sense of your world, so by looking at the news and making fun of sort of the highest people in power, or, recently in Australia we had a situation that is become known as robo-debt, which was like just thousands of people were indebted by the welfare system, and they had to pay back often money that they didn't actually owe due to a series of complicated calculations that were inaccurate. And it's not inherently funny because there was a lot of tragedy to it. But when you examine the people, the major players, and how people made their decisions, and there's now been a gigantic, I think it's like a couple of million, no, $120 million lawsuit against the government, and the government has to pay back all of this money and compensation for a thing that they shouldn't have been doing in the first place. And that is hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Well, that's brilliant. But I mean, unfortunately, I think we are gonna have to wrap it up now.
That's perfectly fine.
No, genuinely, Matt, it has been an absolute blast talking to you.
Yeah, you too. Man.
So yeah, Leicester Comedy Festival starts on the 3rd of February, goes on to the 23rd of February. Matt, you were doing a show called I Believe. I got bit by a monkey once.
I'm looking forward to watching some shows, actually. It'd be nice to see some comedians who I haven't seen on the local circuit.
Oh yeah. My personal little recommendation will have to go to Sam Lake, just because I interviewed him last week.
Yeah,
last year, but no, Jenny. So I got bitten by a monkey once. Well, Matt did. So go watch that. I will be ticketed £5, I believe, for the online show. Yeah. Make sure you follow Matt on everything, like social media stuff, his website, mattharveystuff.com, I believe it is. That's it. Where you can find his podcast and all his live shows as well. I've been Calum Travers. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys soon. Goodbye.
See you later, guys.